Hi, thanks for tuning in. This video we're going to rebuild the awesome MT10 and nurse it back to good health because it's been in the wars. We'll replace the front arms which were broken with RPM arms, this upper steering link, the drive shaft, and we'll take a look at the shocks while we're on there as well. But before we get into the build, let's have a quick recap on why those parts are broken and what exactly happened. Oh! It's absolutely snapped and smashed in there. Right, the first problem we've got is with the shocks. This shock was pretty badly bent. It probably won't come across very well in the image, but if you look down the side of the shock you can see the spring's bent. So I'll just take it off here. I don't know if you can make that out, but the side of the spring's really bent over. But I'll make it a bit more extreme like that. It was, it was really bent, and what I've done was I've just straightened it out with the pliers, both sides, and I've got it pretty straight, but it's not straight, so that needs replacing. So yeah, I've just got another set of springs, the Team Associated springs for it, and I think the first thing we'll do is just put some new springs on it. But the quality of these, yes, they're decent, but either way they're a plastic spring. This thing needs aluminium shocks on it, so these plastic shocks are no good at all, really, for the kind of bashing you're going to do with this. So I'm going to replace them out for aluminium shocks. I'm going to wait for the next crash, the next horrendous crash when something breaks. I'm going to change the shocks and change a number of things and just upgrade it. But we'll get these things replaced on it first, and then we'll take it from there. So let's get this spring replaced, but first of all I need to put some new oil in. Nice. Perfect, so let's change put the new spring on there. Should be nice. So next I'm going to remove this off, change this arm here, get the drive shaft sorted, and I need to take off the under tray there so I can access both arms. So I'll do that now. Well, I've detached all this from the actual chassis, so we'll just make a start on it. But first things first, I was just looking at the actual diff gear in here, and it's very dry. I mean, there's little bits of oil around. It's very dry, so I'm going to get some nice grease in that and grease all that up again in there, get that running nice, because it was very dry. I've already moved a little bit around it there with the edge of it, so but yeah, I'm going to paste that up again, get that good. I think the first thing with the arms is you can't quite get into the arms here because of these plates. So I think to get the arms off, we've just got to undo these two screws here that go through, and we can remove them plates, and then we can actually get the arms. I'm going to need to take this shock off, unscrew these steering link and the drive shaft, so I'm just going to take all of them off now, remove them, and then I can start adding the parts on. One thing that's worth looking at, I've never touched the oil in the shocks. Now I've had this vehicle about 6 months. Out of curiosity, let's have a look what's left in from the factory and see what it's like. Now, there's no rebound, and I can hear the air, so there's no rebound in them shocks. So that just shows if you don't adjust them, if you don't check them firstly from the factory, which I didn't, to be honest, I just ran it, I never even took them off and checked it, which I should have, because it would have been interesting to see exactly what was in out of the factory. But yeah, what we got. So there's just a little drop there, but you can see all the air. There's a lot of air bubbles in there. That's not doing its job at all. So we'll get that replaced. Right, there we have it. So I've got the actual arm, this piece off here now, and you can actually get to the arm. One thing I just want to point out is when you look where this is broken, in here and here, and you look at the quality of the plastic there, it looks very brittle, very brittle. It looks like broken ceramic or something. It's very it's no wonder these break, because that plastic is looks very brittle. Doesn't look like it would flex at all, this sort of plastic. I mean, it's kind of like you're looking at coal. It's got that kind of, you can see the pitting in it and the air, you know, as if there's air in there as well. I don't think it's the best quality plastic, these arms, and that's no wonder they break. That is both of the arms now replaced. So we've got lovely shiny RPM arms on there, ready to rock and roll. So I think the next thing I'll do is I'll take off this broken arm off here, and I'm just going to replace this steering link now. Right, to replace this actual drive shaft, here's the new drive shaft ready to go, but there's actually nothing wrong with this cup here. The cup that's on there is absolutely nothing wrong with it at all. It was the male part that broke, so I'm just test that in there. It's going to make me out to be a liar here. There we go. Oh hey, so that works absolutely fine in there, no problem. There's nothing wrong with that actual shaft, that cup. That will take that, so there's no point me taking this, you know, this turnbuckle end and the hub off, because, you know, I could just use it as it is. So I'm just going to use that in there. Now this part of the drive shaft, just quickly done this, just tested it off camera. This little part of the shaft here just fits onto this here. There's actually just a little pin that you take out. Now the pin's just got a hex head, a very small hex head, maybe a millimeter or something. I don't know the size exactly. I had to find an Allen key for it. It's maybe a millimeter or something like that. And you can just take that off there, so you don't have to go and take the entire diff casing apart to get to it. You just take that cup off, and then we can just put the new one on over the top like that, and then we'll just put, well, obviously we'll have to take the bolt out because there's a bolt in there, and then we can just put that onto there with the Allen key through, so that saves taking the diff apart. Well, that's the arms on, and I've fully greased the diff inside, and the casing's back on, and look at that, it's starting to look like the front end of a vehicle again. Happy days. Happy with that. So getting there. Next thing is just, I'm going to fit this steering link back on, fit the drive shaft back on, and the hubs will need to go back in. The little hubs need to be fitted onto the arms, and then I can actually fit the body back to the chassis. So getting there, so I'm going to tackle that now. So that is all complete. New arms fitted on, drive shafts, the new upper links fitted. I've wired the LED lights back in, connected everything back up, so it is all good to go. Everything fixed, nice strong RPM arms on there. They're going to be nice and solid. So the next thing to do is just the shocks. I'm going to change the shocks, quickly update the oil in there, do the back as well. Yeah, so I'll quickly do that now, get the shocks done, and then it's all ready to put the wheels back on and be ready to go. Okay, well that's all the parts fitted, new parts fitted on, and the build went really well. I'm really happy with that, and I actually enjoyed that as well. I really enjoyed that build and just changing those parts. The one thing I just want to point out is I've added the actual guards onto the front arms. They don't really fit correctly onto the RPM arms, but if you just put them on with the screws, I mean, they hold on perfectly well, and you'll find that the they're just going to give you that little bit added protection on there. So yeah, great. Suspension's feeling fantastic, really good. That's going to jump really well. Last thing to mention is the next time anything really breaks on it, these shocks, for example, which really need replacing, I'm going to replace these with aluminium shocks. I'll also put aluminium hubs on, and any other aluminium parts I'm just going to make it indestructible. So I think any other big breakage on the next time, and we'll do a big build on it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Time to just kind of get the body back on and get it out there, and now it's fixed again, we'll have some fun.